Greetings, infinite blessings, and welcome to another moment of now. Now being the only time that exists, and today being the only day. And there has never been a better day than today to have a good day. So, in a moment, we're going to have the pleasure of inviting and introducing Toni. It has been an absolute gift to be connected to him and to have been continuing to grow and to expand our consciousness together. We have a weekly group that we attend, being on a spiritual journey, being a leader, being a beacon of inspiration. It is useful and important to be able to connect to like-minded beings, like-minded souls, like-minded people, to be able to continue to deliver our truths to each other, as well as to the collective, as it were. It is getting to a point now in my journey where Instagram is where I started. I started my connection, my sharing of material on this platform. And everybody that I'm connected to still now is part of my tribe, part of my family, part of the inner network of like-minded beings. I'm at a point now where it is required to start to become more reachable, more accessible, more mainstream, if you like, without actually losing any of the truth or depth of information that I share. I share very deep and quite inaccessible information to many people, but that is the way that I receive the information that I do, and then I channel it through in that context. I see things in a very peculiar way, and not peculiar, unique. Peculiar to many. I see it in an energetic frequency, and then I deliver it and share it in a context that allows me to better understand it. So I'm going to go ahead and pin Toni's, how do we do this? Pin, there we go. So there is his handle. So anybody that vibes with him, then please go ahead and actually follow him, connect to him, expand your tribe, and gain another stream, another perspective of information. Therefore, we are able to continue to grow together, continue to expand together. Okay, another member of our beautiful inner circle. I hope you're well. What are you up to today? What's going on? We're just waiting for Toni to join, and we are going to talk about enlightenment. Just the simplistic nature of enlightenment. It's easy. He's messaging me at the moment. His messages keep popping up, but I'm not sure how to communicate with him from within the live. But I'm sure that he'll be along momentarily. Enlightenment, what it is and how to attain it. Or if it is actually something that we can attain within these physical structures that we call bodies. Enlightenment as a term, the way that I've been shown it, and I don't know if this is the dictionary definition or if it is just the way that it best vibes with me. So Toni he keeps messaging me. If somebody else is able to message him, there we go. Hey bro. So now ask to join. There's a little button that when you first enter, it says to request to join. If you click that, then I can then add you to the live. Enlightenment is to exist in a state of acceptance of everything in existence within the light. So, to accept everything, the good, the bad and the ugly, to accept the light and the dark, to accept the joy and the frustration and the anger and the more negative and heavy emotion, is to allow for existence in completion to be as it is, and then to exist in the light whilst accepting it all. Toni.
Hi.
Hello, brother.
Hi, Kain.
How are you?
Namaste.
Namaste, brother. Greetings.
Greetings.
thank you for creating today, for bringing it to the table, and for this beautiful topic of conversation, because it is something that everybody is in the spiritual context aware of, enlightenment, but to many different people it may have many different meanings. So it's a beautiful, beautiful topic.
It's something that after many years of research, I can say that is not describable in words, but many of us, we feel inside that it is achievable, it's possible, and during an awakening there are many pointers that you are going in that direction. So you feel inside yourself that enlightenment is the ultimate goal.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And like you say, it's knowing whilst we were on our journey if we're traveling in that direction or away from it. So for myself, I would suggest it's all to do with checking in with the emotions to see if it feels free flowing and natural and joyful, and if there's excitement with it, or if it feels heavy and tiresome and like it's a burden. And any time for myself that it feels like something that I have to do, then I check in and actually ask myself why I'm doing something that I feel I have to, instead of being able to choose to.
Yeah, this is part of the journey, no? Inquire yourself on the motivation, that what's the drive, why are you doing something, so you are able to truly get rid of the illusion of the programs that society, family, religion also sometimes has put on your mind. That is part of the human condition, conditioning.
Yes. You say programming.
Yeah. For making an example of what happens to you if you so believe, Kain, on that subject.
So I am all about programs and the way that the way we perceive the world, and the way that I've been shown it to best understand it is just like a computer game character. And the programs that we adopt as children due to our situational experiences. So something happens in life and we believe it to be reality. We believe it to be so. And then we have a memory of an event which we go back to and use as a reference point for when something similar takes place again. So as an example, I used to keep myself very small, very limited, very low, so that I wasn't seen, because I expressed myself freely and joyfully as a child. And because of doing so, I was scolded by somebody that I seeked approval from. Therefore, I kept myself small so as never to be scolded, never to receive that trauma again. But in truth, it kept me limited. It kept me in a place of less than joyful, let's say. It kept me low. It kept me shielded and protected. But if you stay in that protective bubble, then you can never experience anything outside of it. And again, enlightenment is to continue to break all barriers, all layers, to allow for every petal of the lotus to open, to discover the truth at the center of it, which is that we are everything and nothing in completion.
Good. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So how are you today, Kain?
I'm very good, very good. It's been I went to the park, did some yoga outside. I've set up a local community support group, let's say, to provide somewhere for like-minded people to still be able to come together to socialize, because of the current situation where everybody's being separated, knowing that everything in completion is unified, aspects of ourself as well as the collective of humanity. I'm all about unification of all parts of myself as well as people in general. So I've created this group to allow people that want to come and socialize, even though we're technically not allowed to in the UK. But again, that falls under something that is being implemented and enforced upon us that actually we do not have to follow. So again, it's following what feels right to each and every one of us.
So you're interesting. it's good to be together, to join with people, to share the vibration of love, the frequency, when you are awareness, and you are doing a good job. So you've done yoga, so your body become more subtle, become more flexible, more able to conduct energy, to be a conductor for the spirit.
Yes.
To dedicate you sometimes to yourself fully. Then you share the love. How about what you eat?
I don't eat as healthily as I could do, but what I do eat, I am very mindful of the process from where it comes from, where it's farmed, the process it goes through, and then the actual ingestion of it. So I bless things I bring in, whether it's information, whether it is food, everything is energy. And if we bring things in a positive manner, even if we were to, as an example, receive negative energy from somebody else in a conversation, say something has happened to somebody we love, and we want them to share the story with us so that we can allow for them to remove that negative energy. When we receive it with positivity and love, because we are accepting it with love to allow them to remove and to release that build up. We then release it ourselves, and it is a positive process.
Okay.
How are you today? What have you been doing?
Good. I've done yoga as every day. My routine in achieving enlightenment has been and continues to be mild physical exercise, mainly yoga. I do some jumping on the rebounder. I used to go to run. Then I have a clear diet. Nothing too strict, as you say, because you have to live also.
Yeah.
Bless the food for sure. Then I do at least 2 times meditation.
Nice.
Morning and night.
And again, is that in a structured manner? So anybody listening now that wants to develop a practice, a daily routine, if you decide that I have to meditate at 7 o'clock every morning and something happens and we don't meditate at 7 o'clock in the morning, it could lead to a negative spiral of internal emotion and feeling because we haven't allowed for that time for ourselves. Would you always stick to the same time, or would you allow, as everything is always moving, to allow for that state of movement and flow?
I think that is not right to give a suggestion like that for everybody. It depends greatly on how you perceive yourself, what is best for you, and is different for everybody. According to the teaching, to meditate at the same hour is the best thing, because your nervous system is like a biological clock, and it knows that it prepares itself for the process, and so it becomes part of a routine which is longer than 1 day. Usually it's 21 days. A good meditator knows that there are cycles also inside the meditation, so it's better to stick at the same hour. But for me, I tend to harmonize all my day, and if I have something to do which is on the moment, and I have to skip my meditation, is not a problem. I will do that later. I will do that less, because harmony during the day is more important. You can really meditate if your mind is not totally at ease. So you can. What is more important is mindfulness. I know that you are good in that. Okay, I've seen your posts. And that means that whatever you are doing in awareness, consciously.
Yes.
So meditation became a daily activity. a life activity, something that follows you. You became more and more into meditation in all that you do. In fact, there are two kinds of enlightenment, according to the Indian teaching. There is the so-called nirvikalpa, which is a kind of satori, a samadhi, which is a state of bliss that you reach when you are meditating, when you stop your body, your bodily function, you retire inside yourself and you are in bliss. So your mind became thoughtless. But the real achievement in life is not that, but it's something like sarvikalpa. Those are terms, Indian terms, which is a continuous state of engagement with your light, internal light, with your spirit, with your joy, which is something that you do spontaneously in all that you are accomplishing. And I think that this is the true message, the true direction.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Because it's in a modern day concept, when we are generally rushing around unaware of what's taking place inside or outside us, because we're so focused on where we're going and actually missing the journey. It's the small moments. It's a single moment. If you're stuck in traffic, as an example, and you just take a single breath in and out and allow for that process to be used as meditation, to be sat in a queue when we go to the shops, to stand in a queue to go and purchase the products, we can use that as a form of meditation. Just this moment of now, just closing your eyes and focusing in on the simplistic nature of the tone of my voice could be a sense and a way of integrating meditation. The reason that I brought up the ability to change and to flow is because personally, as you say, everything is a personal perspective, and what works for me is going to be different to what works for somebody else. I have 2 children. When I have them, which is half the week, when I first awaken, it's very much dedicated and revolved around them. I set myself a small window of time. Because time is always there. It just depends what we choose to focus it on. We make spaces in time. We don't spend time, we use it because it's there to be used. I went through a short period where it became a negative when I wasn't able to sit and meditate, because I attached so much meaning to meditation that if I didn't go through the process of it, then I was aggravated and irritated. Where in truth, we can be in that state of being all the time if we choose it. So with meditation, it's like the breath. We take the breath in, and being aware of taking that breath in, we then experience that process with all of our being. But the breath is always being experienced, whether we're consciously aware of it or not.
You don't get lost in your thoughts. Meditation is to be present here and now, no?
Mm-hmm.
So the breath is not really, in my experience, the empowering, the empowering thing. Absolutely, when you breathe, you oxygenate your body, your mind, so you feel better. But if you pay attention to the breath, you need to lower your attention to your mind, to your thought process, and you bring more attention to your body, to your feelings, to your surroundings, and so the energy can flow in a different way. It can reformulate the pattern of the way you are perceiving the reality. The more you relax, the more the body, the more the world became friendly. The more you energize yourself, the more you feel secure, resourceful, and you can approach the others with a different vibration. And also, in fact, I was to ask you if you noticed a difference in the relation with your beautiful children, having made the meditation work. Does this change the way they approached you also.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It would be like in the image that I just received was, again, being over the park, conkers are falling. So when a conker falls, it has spikes on the external shell. The casing of the conker has spikes on it to protect it. We can become quite spiky in our energy, where we feel friction within ourselves, where we're not in a state of acceptance, a state of free flow within ourselves. We can become spiky to keep people away so that they don't come too close. If we meditate, then it's almost like the spikes are removed. We're more approachable, we're more joyful, we're more accepting of everything. Somebody could come up with a question, and if you're not in the right state of being, it would be a hindrance. I'm doing this, please be quiet. Whereas when we've meditated, it's like, yes, darling, what is it? How may I help you?
Yeah.
How can I support you in your growth and your upbringing? It's holding space. It's all about space for myself with my children. And the first time I ever experienced what I would describe as a state of bliss, a state of touching on a state of enlightenment, I floated, literally floated. It didn't feel like I was walking. I floated back down to the house. And it was just the most euphoric, blissful feeling that I'd ever embodied. I then went through the next 2 or 3 days in the same state of being, where people would, as an example, pull out in front of me driving in the car, and I would just send them love. Instead of thinking, how dare you pull out in front of me? I'm the mighty ego. How dare you do something against me? The ego was completely silenced and completely content in just experiencing almost. And then it was sending, if somebody's in a state of separation from that being, from that state, if somebody's angry, it's because they're angry in themselves. So then it's sending them love and appreciation and support.
This is, I want to add this because it was in my mind already, that when you are in a positive state, you can attract also positive situations. So this is another reason why it's important to dedicate some time to meditation, no? To mindfulness, because other than how we have already said, no, the world is such because you are such. It also you can achieve what you put forth. What you put forth, it's what you bring back. If you put forth positive energy, if you put forth love, if you bless everybody, if you are a person who enjoy the success of the other people, you can easily, almost certainly in time, enjoy the same success. You can attract people, situation. So every day, if you concentrate on being in a good, positive state internally, you don't have to mind all the surrounding bad things that may happen to you. No? You are shielded in some way because you are able also not to be affected negatively from the bad situation, the bad emotion that surround you. Eckhart Tolle says in his book, there is this body pain, no? When you are angry, when you are under some negative emotion, and you are next to a person who has also this kind of tendency, it's like you are trigger it in himself, herself. So you start to exchange this energy with those people and reinforce the pattern inside yourself. It can be like a virus. No? What a bad words to say, no, in these days. But I did it on purposes, no? To mitigate the fear.
Yes.
So we must be really responsible. The priority must be in our responsibilities, how we feel, no? To connect with ourselves. What is the best way, in your opinion, to feel good? How can we feel good? What is the best way, the direct way?
The best way to feel good is to, in my personal experience, to accept everything knowing that life is happening for you, that you're creating it all, that we are creators, that we're not victims in any way, shape or form, that there is a choice to every decision and every decision leads to a certain outcome, that everything you've experienced this far has been, in truth, perfect to bring you to where you are now. And where you are now is exactly the right place to take you to where it is that you desire to go. To liken it to a computer game again, or even to a film. In a Disney film, as an example, the character always goes through some form of turmoil, some form of heartache. But that is the event that actually leads them down the path to the happy ever after. It's up to the character to walk that path, to experience the events, to learn and to grow through those situations. A state of happiness, a state of joy, a state of acceptance, is liberation through letting go of a weight of things, wanting them to be any other way than they are. For the acceptance of something as it is then able for myself to completely accept everything, is to be in a state of happiness, a state of joy. That means that it's useful to check in with the emotions, and it is the indicator to whether it is more pleasurable, more joyful, more beneficial to walk, let's say, left or right. But it is something that we do simply because we can. Nothing has to be done. We don't have to be on this spiritual awakening journey. It's beneficial to ourselves, it's beneficial to the collective. But who's to say that it has to be done, other than the concept of self, which is trying to change what is once again. If I am fully acceptant as I am now, then I no longer need to go any further on my journey. I choose to continue forward simply because I can.
Good. So, well, I would like to add that we don't have to strive to be happy every moment, no? This is not really possible. Happiness is just an emotion. It comes and goes. It would be very silly to be so happy that people, after a while, would tend to say, okay, that's enough. I don't want that. The real treasure is found in peace of mind.
Yes.
Because when you are peaceful in your mind, which anyway it's very difficult to achieve, but not impossible, you can truly connect with yourself or higher self. You can truly receive the inspiration, the direction, the synchronicity. And also to be peaceful is a joy in itself. Because in peacefulness, you can realize who you truly are. And this is the aim, the scope of life, spiritually. To merge with your higher self. And your higher self is pure joy, they say, no? Mystics, Enlightenment people, we say. Higher self is pure joy. Because the sense of aliveness, it brings joy. It brings, sense of purpose, sense of accomplishment by itself. So, when we say, how do you feel? I feel good. It can mean two things, no? It means I feel good, I feel like I have a good sensation, but also I am connected. I feel myself. I feel it. We must learn, reprogram our mind in order it to be more feeling of the true self, of the awareness of the self, of the divine direction, divine guide, divine blueprint that is already in us. So they say, we want to add something, I saw you mumbling. So they say, no, I've lost it, okay.
So it's absolutely beautiful, the imagery I just got, and it's to do with, it's full acceptance again, to be in a state of joy, to be able to connect with that higher aspect of ourselves is to accept everything that is taking place. Yesterday, actually, for the first time in a very long time, I felt negative. There was a form of frustration within me, and I couldn't understand why. I didn't know where it had come from, and I just was like, okay, this is what I'm feeling at the moment. I fully accept it, and then it went away. If I had have attached a focus of not wanting it, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to look over here. I'm looking over here, but I don't want to look over here. I'm looking over here, but I don't want to look over here. Like, look over there. Okay, I see that. What else is there to look at? Let's actually choose where we're focusing again. Instead of feeling that I feel negative, I don't want to feel negative. Acceptance of that negativity allows it to flow through. Like, likened to a cloud, I always use clouds. If there's a dark cloud which comes in and it's heavy and it's got rain in it and thunder and lightning and it feels repressive, if we focus upon it with the desire not to actually want to experience it, we could look at it for a minute and it might seem like an hour. If we accept it's there and return back to being able to focus on any element of joy or happiness or gratitude, which is a very powerful emotion to embody, then we can go about calming the self, acceptance of all that is, and return to that calm pool of the mind. And as you were saying, through calming the mind in order to connect to the higher self, it's likened to a body of water. If there are ripples in it, it's more difficult to see the true reflection that we're looking for, which is our true self, as well as the depths and the treasures which are found at the depths.
But calming the mind doesn't mean that you have to be passive or you have to to be weak.
No.
For example, if you have a negative emotion, you have to go through it. You have to definitely listen to it, because it's how can I say if it's there for a reason. No, you don't have to escape it. No, I must be positive. This is not part of me. I don't want it. The only way is to fully surrender to it, to love it. If you relax, it's not so bad. Come on. It's just an emotion. You just relax, you allow it to be as it is. You breathe. It's better to 2 minutes of a little pain than to stay for hours and hours in that state, trying to fool your mind, yourself, to say, no, I'm not that. I'm not. You are what you are. This is the peace of mind. You are what you are in the moment. So you are negative. We are human. There are things happening. We cannot control everything. And we are also changing our biology every day. So negativity, it's okay. We are positive towards negativity. We live our negativity. We say, sometimes I say to my fiancée, you know, I'm going through a little negativity. I tell her before, so she knows that, no, she has to. This is part of the process, and I would say that 50% is positivity, 50% is negativity. This is
beautiful, beautiful. Just as though one of the imageries I got a long time ago when I was asking about negativity was flipping a coin. So a coin has two sides. It's one coin, as we are one person having one experience. In completion, every experience is part of the same experience, as we are all part of the same aspect of source. We are all the universe experiencing itself on multiple different situations and perspectives. If you flick a coin 100 times, you expect it to roughly land heads the equal amount to tails. It's going to be 50-50, give or take. So why do we go through life expecting it all to be joyful and happiness and rainbows, when in truth, mathematically, it's going to be an equal distribution of the two? If we focus intently on the negatives, again, not wanting to experience it, it becomes a very heavy, and it starts to take up more of our awareness, as opposed to that we accept the positives and just, I accepted that. I expected that to happen. But the negatives, I don't want them, so I'm going to focus on them. But like you say, if we actually allow for it, as opposed to focusing on it not wanting it, if we focus on it with acceptance and actually sit and breathe in that pain for 2 minutes, meditate with it, actually allow it, then it will dissipate, because we've accepted it and returned it, as opposed to trying to deny.
At the end, it will teach you a lesson. at the end there is a treasure at the end of that tunnel, no?
Yes.
The moment you truly learn what that emotion was bringing you, you don't need to repeat the experience. You have transcended that state. So it will not happen to you again. No? Maybe it will happen, but you will not react the same way. Your body will be different. And you already know. So you will develop wisdom. This is the true meaning of expansion of consciousness.
Yes.
The more you practice those negative states and you allow them, the more your body mind became so, how can I say, already spinning in a vibration that doesn't allow anymore them to be in your system in a truly consistent way. I want to speak more simply and say that we must just be ourselves moment by moment and take things as they are. The whole process is automatic. It's not something that we have to mind too much. It takes place.
And again, it's a label, and every time we label something, we cause fragmentation and separation. And the journey that I'm on, again, is all about unification. So it's saying that something may be perceived to be positive and something else negative, but in truth, they're all just experiences. They're all the universe experiencing itself. It's only my egoic perception that wants one thing and not the other. It's only my personal egoic perception which defines one as positive, one as negative. You might see it in reverse. You might say that that's actually positive, that's negative. It's a different perspective. It's a different opinion. The beautiful imagery, again, that I just received when you were talking about the expansion and connection to the mind and sitting or almost venturing into the darkness. Enlightenment, for me, is to exist in a state of acceptance within the light, a state of acceptance of everything. But first, we must venture through the darkness, discover the parts of ourselves lost and fragmented there, and integrate them back into the self. Likening the mind to a dark cave. If you go into the cave and you sit in an area of darkness long enough, the darkness is absorbed and actually turned back with the light that we are ourselves into light. We illuminate that area through full acceptance of it. The light shines through us and illuminates that area. When we venture back into the cave again, the area that we have previously sat in and allowed to exist, the darkness, then is already illuminated. We don't have to experience darkness in that place again. It's already got a residue and an imprint of light because we've accepted it in completion. That is a very beautiful image. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you. You expressed it so beautiful. English is limited, but you know.
Yeah. And that's what it is. The more darkness that we integrate, the more darkness we accept. My learnings come in the dark. I walk in the dark. That's what I do. I take people into the darkness and I guide them through my own experiences and my own journeys to allow them to discover parts of themselves that would otherwise never be able to be enjoyed or experienced because they're fragmented. They're left in the darkness through traumatic events of old, as I know you're aware. We separate, and it's about bringing them back in full awareness to then be able to experience everything in completion, to know that there is no negative and positive. It's just an experience.
So also they say that in order to complete the spiritual, all the spiritual step, you have to suffer some kind of challenges, some kind of pain, I don't know, that is common to everybody. So this is a good thought. No? What you are going through, what you suffer is what is needed, what every other master has gone through.
Yes.
So it's like a divine justice, a karmic board, they call. So it's that. It's different when you suffer because you are learning, because you are understanding what is going on, or just a suffering which is born out of ignorance and that perpetuates. It's there with no reason and it's burning out you. is just making you sick. That is born out of resistance. That is born out of don't be true, no, with yourself. And this is not a good pain. We are not talking about that. No? When you are doing something against yourself or others, because you are not aware of what you are truly creating. No? We are creators. No? So we must just try to relax and observe, have a clear vision of our thoughts, what we are doing. It's just all about awareness. We are aware, we are not going to make a lot of mistakes. The more you are aware, the more you perfect yourself. This is what our soul asks us, to perfect ourselves more and more. And through the inner guidance of our emotion, we can navigate life in a more smooth, no? More smooth way.
Yes.
And be guided toward enlightenment, toward everlasting peace and joy, abundance, perfect. And became also light for everybody. This is a consequence, because once we are perfectly happy and doing the things the right way, we are giving a good example to everybody. We are transmitting that frequency, the Christ consciousness, to all the people around us, also the things around us, the energy, no, not solid, not material. And this is another good aspect, no?
Beautiful.
I sense that inside yourself there are a lot of good things opening, no? As we speak about.
I know. There is so much. There is so there is so much taking place. It's getting to the point where it's almost a choice of actually cutting off a few avenues that I'm involved in, because there's only so much that we can give attention to. Too many different branches, let's say, or too many different roots. And likened to a tree, if they spread their roots too widely over too large an area, then they haven't actually developed a deep enough root system, and they're most likely going to be uprooted. It's investing the ability, the energy that we're gifted into what we're here to experience as harmonic beings within ourselves. Like you say, to become perfect is to live a perfect life, to live your greatest life, is to live in an alignment with who you are. And again, it's all vibrational. As you said, you live in a vibrational harmony with yourself, and then you're doing it. You're already living your greatest life. I'm living my greatest life in all ways, because I live moment by moment in alignment with who I am. I don't do anywhere near as much as I used to, but that is now accepted because my ego doesn't need to feel justified in doing this and doing that and being a certain way. It's the ability to allow, through the journey, the ego to realize that the choices we are making are beneficial to the body. They are protective, they are securing, they are supportive, as opposed to the ego, when you sit in meditation, it's going to go, no, we should be doing something here. We need to survive, we need to thrive. Come on, we need to do the washing, or we need to go out and do some more work, or whatever it is. But it's allowing that voice to take place once again, and then actually allowing the ego to see the other side of meditation. I feel so much better. And actually now the time that I've got towards dedicating to creating whatever it is, I now only need to use an hour of time instead of 3 hours, because I'm so much more in that beautiful state of flow. It's full acceptance of it all. It's knowing that everything is actually an illusion, that fear is an illusion, that the more we face it, the more we break out of the bubble of protection and then experience what's outside it.
Let me add this, because it's important to clarify, no? We are talking about enlightenment. That means that probably, no, who will listen to this record, or at least the both of us, no? We are on a search for it. We are in an awakening process, the so-called awakening, no? Which there is a split in yourself, and your body consciousness start this transformation, and when you start this process, you need to make some steps back from your previous life, and for sure you will not do the same amount of things. You will not receive the same stimuli, no, when you go around with people, because you need to protect your shell, because you are like a baby and your emotions are new. You became more and more sensitive. Your body starts to do shifting continuously the energy, the cellular at the cellular level. So you need to retire a little bit. There are days when you are not able truly to cope, maybe. Other days that you are just fine. And this is part of the process. And so when we speak about mindfulness and meditation, this is a good thing for everybody. For just average consciousness people, if they implement this kind of tools in their life, they will improve more and more their situation, for sure. But if we speak about awakening person, it's the same things, but it goes more deeper. It becomes a way of life. For sure, it's not easy, but it's the greatest life that a man can the greatest adventure that a soul can have in a human body. So
to fully connect back to the truth of who we are without having to actually leave these bodies in an energetic sense. We do leave, but we can return with that information, as opposed to when we die, we'll know who we are, because we'll be outside of this structure of reality and back at home with Source. It's realizing that truth now before we actually take that final step in this journey, in this life. And it brings up that beautiful concept of being a droplet of water in the ocean of existence again. I am a droplet of water in an ocean of existence. Upon returning to the ocean, I remember I'm part of the ocean. In fact, I am the mighty ocean itself. So we can discover this truth through very deep trance-like meditations. And then once you have witnessed and actually embodied that frequency, then it's keeping in alignment with that in everything that we choose to experience and everything that we choose to do. Like you say, checking in with the self, checking with the emotions, and being mindful of everything that we experience. Asking ourselves, does this take me further towards the center in myself, further towards love, further towards unity, or does this actually separate me? And again, if we try and deny something, I had a negative thought, let's deny that. I'll take that negative thought and I'll throw it away. You're then fragmented yourself once again. Only through acceptance of the negative thought and actually bringing it back into the center and transmuting it back into love do we then able to continue upon that journey of full acceptance and a state of bliss.
Good. Toward the center always for me. Kain, should we share with in the video the coincidence that we had the other day when we were planning to do this thing on the 15 things, and then after,
go on.
You explain,
please.
You it's better if you maybe explain this because you are more able in English.
It's to do with synchronicities. So having an awareness of a path once again. So
what happened to us? What happened to us the other day?
So it was to do with the questions and the connections and when we're going to come together and to do today. And it was all the timings. So it's to do with I view it as the universe or my higher self, my guardian angels, whoever it is, confirming it. It's almost that it's an indication of what you've just allowed to take place is correct in the experience. So we connected, you asked about doing today, and I was like, yes, 100%, let's do it. And all the times were all mirrored images of each other, or they were synchronicity, they were divine numbers. So it allowed for an assurance that this is divine, this is true, this is on our path, this is perfect. And it's seeking that confirmation from outside ourselves, let's say, because sometimes it can be easy to be on a path and to be asking questions but not receiving an answer. if we have a indication, almost like going on a walk and then thinking, am I going in the right direction? It feels right, but am I? Having a indication that somebody has left you a clue along the way that yes, you're on the right path. And it's allowing for that. It's the acceptance again. It's allowing. All we do is, myself personally, and I know that you're in the same state, is I've allowed myself, I've surrendered this body, this mind, to the divinity that is able to direct it in whichever way is most beneficial for the collective.
Should we do, you tell me, we can do it Saturday? I say yes. Yeah. At what time? And it was right in the morning, 15:15 in your time, UTC, no? And when I read your message and answered, it was in my time 16:16. No? So we laughed, no?
Yeah.
That was an interesting synchronicity. No?
Yeah.
More than that, when the synchronicity like that occurs, usually you feel inside yourself that it is like a blink from the universe. It says, here I am. That's the way. Huh? You feel it also. It's just there is an exterior confirmation, the number, the master number. It can be also another things, and then there is also this inner awareness of the sensation to say yes, do that.
For me, it's the ringing in the ear as well. Ringing in the ear is always an indication of yes, whatever you've just experienced or chosen or the information you've delivered is exactly spot on.
Interesting. What kind of ring you wear? Can you describe
it? It's high pitched, but it's muffled, so it's almost as though
it's pleasurable.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And then the tingling sensation that rushes down your spine and feels like, oh, that euphoric, like, oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony, we're coming up to an hour, and I don't want to go over just because it actually loses the ability to save it. Would you do the honor of doing a short meditation to bring closure?
Today I'm a little bit feverish also, I want to tell, but it's okay. It was really good to talk with you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for suggesting, for organizing, for bringing it all up.
Maybe in time we will do some other time, another one with a different topic. Yeah, so a brief meditation, we can relax our body. If some wish, close your eyes. Concentrate on the breathing and listen to your body. Body awareness. Relax. Enjoy the process. Deep breath. And we relax even more. For everybody who will listen to these recordings and who is now online, we will bring now an initiation, an awakening code for everybody who freely wants to awake to a new reality, to start the journey. If so he wish, he can consent to that experience inside himself, so say yes. Me and Kain here together, we are starting to extrude to ourselves the energy of the awakening. And we feel the sacred energy in the first chakra, at the bottom of the spine, to vibrate at the higher rates, to awake the energy inside the spine, for the truth, for the love, for the light, for humanity to rise, to accomplish the divine plan. Unite we stand as light workers here now. We usher the energy for a new age. We bring forth the change that are needed. Speaking, say your truth now.
Sending through the channel that is me to the channel that is you, the divine wisdom, love and connection to all in existence. To connect to the very center of yourself and the center of everybody else, to exist in love and harmony. This is the gift that we are able to experience and to receive.
So be it.
So be it. And
Amen.
so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Toni. Love and light, brother. And for anybody that has been with us the whole time, thank you. Allow for everything to flow, to be released, to be expressed, to be experienced. Every time I connect to the divinity that is all, I get very emotional and I want to cry. That is a perfectly normal and beautiful experience, and I would suggest that you allow for any build-up of emotion or tension just to be allowed to be flowed and released in completion. Anybody that is not yet connected to Toni, please go over his socials pinned to the comments. Go over and connect with him, because he is a very beautiful soul with a very in-depth, expansive library of knowledge at his disposal, as we all are, as you are. There are some of us that have been doing the work and are able to connect to that truth more so. Yeah, it is. It's the release. And as Toni was saying, it is all to do with vibration. Everything is vibration. And the law of attraction dictates that which you experience. Vibrate as though and embody the fact that you are already enlightened. There is no journey to actually be taken. There is no destination that you need to reach, as you're already there. This is it. This moment of now is everything in completion. Every time you put something forwards towards journeying to, you actually separate yourself from it. I am an enlightened being, as are you. I am the universe in completion, as are you. I am unlimited in my potential, in my knowledge, and abundant in all ways, as is the universe, as are you. I am one and the same. We are one and the same. I am you, as you are me. We are all that was or ever shall be. Universal energy, dancing rhythmically, playfully, and majestically in this beautiful experience that we call life. And even scientifically, I can't deny this is right. Science is starting to come on board with that which we have known from the dawn of time, all through seeing with all of our eyes. Thank you all for being part of my journey as I am part of yours. And I look forward to connecting with you all again on a deeper level very soon. Love, light, infinite blessings. Namaste.